Billy, thanks for taking the time to see me today.
No problem.
When you first heard of the opponent change, what were your initial thoughts?
Not shocked anymore, to be honest with you. And then I was impressed with the boys. Quick decision making, quick options, and the turnaround to get the new opponent in place was impressive.
How do you feel about this opponent?
I'm never super thrilled with having heavyweight fights. Even if he's a smaller sized heavyweight, he's still bigger and thicker. At least you're not dealing with a 6'5" guy. Ideally, you'd want the cruiserweight, but it's a good opponent. It's probably a more fan-friendly fight for the city of Halifax.
Do you think this is a harder fight than Jean-Jacques Olivier?
It's a different fight. So Jean-Jacques Olivier might have been more of a chess match. You got to break him down. There are certain shots we were working on. There are certain techniques we were working on. Whereas the MIG, I can't imagine would be working too hard to find him in the ring. I think he's going to be there where we need him at all times.
I have to say I watched all of Zemig's fights that were on YouTube today, and he is a brawler. Apparently he's an ex-kickboxer, bare-knuckle fighter. With that mentality, how do you see him coming into this fight?
I don't think Zemig will have any fear of Ryan Brzezicki. I think Zemig's been through the wars himself. He's fought at heavyweight the majority, if not all, his career. Bare knuckle, kickboxing. He's from a tough country. He's over here on his own. He brought his wife. He's here to make a living through combat sports. So I think Zemig's going to come at him with his best.
Talk about the sparring that Ryan and Zemig had 7 months ago.
So the sparring they had on the day, I had actually previously arranged sparring with one of my other fighters. So I had to send Sarah with Ryan on that particular day. This day was big, and it was a last minute switch around. And Sarah's the next best voice for Ryan. She knows him the best outside of me, and I'm very particular with who I leave in charge of Ryan to get the best out of him. I watched it back a lot. They called me right afterwards. It's a good demonstration of what the fight's going to be, where Zemig's going to come hard, Ryan's going to be hopefully picking him apart with certain shots. I don't think Zemig's going to be giving it easy. I don't think he's going to be put away easy, and I think Ryan's in for a tough task if he tries to smash him out of there. I think he's got to be clever.
What challenges do you see in this fight? Being that's on short notice, tough opponent, they kind of know each other. One thing I was talking about with the boys today is that it's the first time Ryan has ever fought a former sparring partner.
Yep.
So talk about that, fighting a former sparring partner.
Fighting a former sparring partner is always difficult because, again, you've lost the element of surprise. Everybody knows each other at that stage. You know little nuances, little tendencies. The power and the speed is not going to be a shock for Zemig. So that initial shock guys suffer from once you're in the ring with Ryan, because he looks like one thing on the outside until you get in there with him. So Zemig is going to be going into the fight knowing what most guys figure out too late. So I think it is going to make it, even though Zemig's going to come at him, a little bit more of a chess match for Ryan, just because Zemig will know what to expect from certain positions out of Ryan. But a good challenge, a good test, and something that every major fighter in their career has to go through at some stage or the other.
What holes do you see in his game?
He's a brawler. A brawler has, sometimes they get a bit too wide, sometimes they get a bit too aggressive, sometimes they leave their head in the middle too much. But the same could be said for Ryan at times. So they both have a lot of the same tendencies. I think it's who's more intelligent on the night with their tactics.
So it's a brawler versus a brawler.
I don't call Ryan a brawler, but that's what a lot of people like to call him. So
what do you call him?
I think people are seeing more out of him now, more and more. I don't like to say too much. I like people to think he's a limited fighter, but I have my opinion on what Ryan is, and when it's all said and done, I'll be happy to share it.
Perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the Halifax fans before we fly out in 2 days? That we are on fight week. The last time you couldn't say anything to them. I'm
excited for Halifax. I've been there for amateur fights. I haven't been there for a pro fight yet. I've obviously been to Cape Breton. I've been to Moncton. I love that side of the country. It reminds me of home. People are fight fans. They appreciate good fights, and they're always super welcoming. So I'm excited for it.